Ever since I was a wee lad back in the 1600s, I've always wanted to create my own game. There was just one problem though. Poor 6-year-old me had absolutely no idea how to code. Fast forward a few centuries though, and after becoming much older, I thought to myself, why not give it a try? It can't be that bad, right? Right? To start things off, I had to learn the Luau programming language, which is what the Roblox engine utilizes. Since I already had years of coding experience, learning the syntax wasn't too difficult. I then spent the first 2 days overloading my brain with scripting tutorials from the Dev King and Roblox. The third day, I sat down to figure out how this challenge would work, and here's what I came up with. Each week, I'd create a new project from scratch. A day isn't a full calendar day, but actually 8 hours. And I wasn't allowed to look at tutorial videos that explained how to make the game I was aiming for. I also came up with the games I wanted to make: an obby, tower defense game, sandbox testing, and to finish things off, a fighting game. And now, with that out of the way, I was finally ready to start coding. For the first game, I wanted to make an obby inspired by the dive sequences in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which is funny because I really hate the game. So I went to Trello to organize and plan out core systems. Then when I felt like I planned enough, I got to coding. On day 4, I was able to get the diving animation finished, but then I quickly realized something. I was not having fun on this project. The movement felt too rigid, the camera movement was making me motion sick, animations weren't working, and overall, I was just getting frustrated. So I decided to pivot to an easier game for a confidence boost, a run-of-the-mill standard obby. The twist, you're riding a gubby. Yeah, I don't know what was going through my head either. Over the next 2 days, I actually made a ton of progress. I created the mount system and its animations, UI, shop and inventory, checkpoints, and by day 7, abilities. By the time the 7th day rolled around, I had the following. So yeah, the starter one has like a not so fast movement speed. Its ability was supposed to be like a little speed boost, like a dash almost. Then the second one was an uncommon one, red goes a little faster. This is supposed to be like a double jump, but I just didn't get to implementing all of that. And then blue one is like the fast one, has like a shield ability. Super simple obby. It's like, I didn't have, oh, okay. Okay, look, not the best thing in the world, I'm aware, but I did what I could with only 2.5 days and very limited knowledge. I had 5 hours left on the last day, and while I could have spent that time polishing the game, I had an epiphany. Planning is everything. If I had taken time to properly organize and plan out what systems were needed, how they interact with each other, and set daily goals and deadlines for myself, I would have progressed not only faster, but way further. With this in mind, I spent the last 5 hours planning for next week's project, because this one is going to be a lot harder than an obby. The 5 hours I spent planning paid off big time. On day 8, I was able to finish NPC pathfinding, created a spawn system, and made a mock tower brick, which takes damage when enemies step on it. The next day was also pretty productive. I made the placement system, round manager module, created new models for units and mobs, as well as a module script to hold the stats for them. I also began the combat system for units. Right now, they don't do anything special, they just stare at NPCs to damage them. With basic combat working, I moved on to animations. Each unit needed an idle, basic, and special attack animation. I also made a currency system, and to follow it up, I added unit upgrades, buying, and selling. After that, I started working on the visual effects and created a corresponding VFX module to actually show the effects. By day 13, all that was left was polishing. I created a bigger map with a longer path, hitbox display when you click on a unit, and updated the placement system to show unit images instead of random icons. It's not the most visually appealing game ever created, but at its core, it's still a functioning tower defense game. There's definitely room for improvement though. Memory usage seemed pretty high, and with more thoughtful planning, I could have avoided a few hiccups. Then again, you can't predict everything that'll go wrong in development, so I wasn't too hard on myself. Something I took away from this week is that good, efficient planning can make for an easier time developing. And efficient planning is something I really need, because these final 2 weeks, I'll be working on the most challenging project yet. For the last 2 weeks, I decided to drop the sandbox idea and full send the fighting game. I knew there was no way I'd finish a fighting game in just 1 week as a beginner, so I dedicated the final 2 weeks entirely to it. I spent the first 3 days exclusively on planning, starting by playing fighting games on the platform that I enjoyed while being mindful of what made them fun. Afterwards, I began writing a design document, outlining mechanics, combat structure, UI layout, character design, and more. A lot of what I learned came from this series of articles by Andrea Demetreo on how to make a fighting game. If you're interested in making one, I highly recommend you check it out, because it goes over crucial components such as state machines, hit and hurt boxes, virtual mappings, and so much more. The characters I wanted to implement were Haomaru and Iori, from Samurai Showdown and King of Fighters respectively. I began with the camera, aiming for the classic 2D fighting game look. Once I was satisfied, I began working on the state machine module, key map module, combat handler, and input handler. By day 20, I had finished a mock UI, created some basic animations, built some more core modules, and changed my avatar for the holiday season. For the next 3 days, I solely worked on animations and the animation handler, which as the name implies, plays and keeps track of animations. So after doing all the animations, I also added some super animations as well. This one is supposed to be, I'll show a reference of it. I'll show a reference of what this was supposed to be. Then this was another one. I'll show the reference as well. I think this one was made pretty neatly. You know, not too bad. Ignore the guy over there. I now have this part that'll give you the tool. And I put all the animations into the game and I incorporated their VFX as well. See, look at that. Pretty neat, right? Pretty neat. I also added a parry state, and that's what happens. I also cleaned up the battle HUD a bit, which we're gonna see there. I cleaned up the battle HUD a lot more from what I drew in Figma. Yes, of course, the HP bar does work. I don't know why it's so laggy when like I knock him back. You see that? So two things, right? Two things to note is there's like this weird delay lag on the knockback, number one. Number two is the attacks come out so slow, but I think that's because I'm handling animations on the server. And I know I probably just made some developer just cringe super hard, but I don't know, man. I just thought it would be easier. And the animations do feel a little slow. I feel like I have to cut down on keyframes or adjust their speed. Over the next few days, progress accelerated. I added training and dueling rooms, victory and defeat screens, a KO intermission, super meter integration, airborne and grounded states with VFX, combo counter, and both super moves were fully integrated into the game with their visual effects. At this point, things were starting to piece together and it felt more and more like a fighting game. So first priority, combat smoothness. And if you remember, I had two options. One, shorten the amount of animation frames, and two, move the animations to the client. I chose to start with the first one, and after I finished trimming frames, I went through a rabbit hole trying to fix stun values. I then looked at the clock and realized I had an hour and a half remaining. Yeah, not enough time to shift everything for client-side animation handling. So I dropped that idea and spent the remaining time adding sound effects. And without further ado, I present to you my final project.
A great slam and then some. And begin!
no way, bro. No, bro, what the hell? Yo, getting cycled. There we go. He fumbled that. He fumbled that so hard, bro. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, bang, bang. No! Ah! There we go. Down, down, bam, bam. Down.
Great slam and then some.
You ain't ready this time? Yeah, pal. Watch. Tornado. Parry that. Alright, watch. 1, 2, 1, 1. Alright. Jump stack. Okay. Parry. 1, 2, 1. Back away. 1, 2, 2, 3. Bam. 1, 2. Bam. 1. 1. Tornado. 1, 2. Bam. 1. What? No, I don't die here. I don't die. Oh, by the hair of my chinny chin chin. He thought. Get that out of here, bro. I eat that. Eat that. Okay, 1. Watch. 1. 1. Tornado. 1. Tornado. 1. Oh, crap. Okay, 1. Tornado. Tornado. Hit. 1, 2. Tornado. Tornado. 1, 2. Bam. Tornado. 1, 2. Tornado. Tornado. 1, 2. Tornado. 1. Tornado. Tornado. One more? I can't move, bro. Jesus Christ. I'm breaking my S key. Come on. There we go. Okay, 1, 2. Down. Okay, I can... This has been one of the most brutal, yet oddly satisfying challenges I have ever done. I started knowing basically nothing, struggling to put together a simple obby, and I ended by creating a full-on fighting game. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It has bugs, it's pretty janky, it's held together by duct tape and Motor 6Ds from a guy running off of 2 Oreos and a Flintstone vitamin. But for someone who's starting out, is it really all about the final product or the journey you took to get there? Finally catching that pesky bug you've been stuck on for hours, the aha moments when something finally clicks, seeing your animations and visual effects link up perfectly with your code, coming up with creative solutions for problems specific to your game, learning new ways to do things, or weird tricks through dev forum posts at 3 AM, it's the small but invaluable moments like those which build your skill set and knowledge, and those were the moments which I started to fall in love with. And honestly, given that I only had 11 days to work on it with 16 days of prior development experience, I'm honestly impressed with how far I got. Even if the games are buggy and unpolished, I'm still proud of them. I'm happy with how they came out, and in the end, I'm even happier with how the journey turned out. I'd like to give a huge shout out to the Dev King and Brawl Dev for their incredibly helpful tutorials and guides. If I tried this challenge without their content, I genuinely don't think I would have made it this far. And not just them, shout out to Leham, Stewyfing, ByteBlocks, Okienski, Gnome Code, Ludius, and honestly, every creator who makes tutorials, guides, or deep dives into Roblox Studio. You're doing an amazing service by equipping up-and-coming developers with what they need to succeed. And not just in scripting, but in animating, UI design, visual effects, everything. Lastly, shout out to Void, because this was originally supposed to be 30 days of animating, but after a lengthy talk, it became what it is now. I've been thinking of making this one big series where I learn multiple core game dev skills that end it with one giant compilation, but I'm a little undecided on that. Unless... this whole challenge was a really fun ride, and now I feel confident enough to start developing my own games. Don't worry, because this channel won't become a devlog channel, so you're not going to see any regular development updates here. but I do have a couple of game ideas I want to take my time with, all of which are under wraps. Don't ask me about them. Give me around 6 to 8 months and I might have some sneaks ready. No promises though. Until then, thank you for watching, have a great day, and peace out.